My grieving mother kept interrupting my intimate moments with my wife, so my wife made an embarrassing sign to keep her out of our room. I've been married to my wife for 4 years. We have a medium-sized apartment. For the last 2 months, my mother has been staying in our guest room. My dad recently passed away and it's hard for her to live in their house alone, so I've been letting her stay with us. My wife and my mom have never particularly gotten along, but I expected her to understand why it's important to me that she overlook this just for a little while. I mean, she lost her husband of 40 years. She's fragile and I really want to be able to do what I can to make her feel better. My mom's presence has changed our routine a little bit, mainly our nighttime routine. She'll usually come knock on our door to talk. My wife hates this, partially because it interrupts our intimacy. Usually, when she's over we just don't make love. So this past week I noticed my mom wasn't coming in at night, so we had normal nighttime habits. Yesterday, mom pulled me aside and told me that the sign I let my wife put on the door at night was disgusting, and not something she ever needed to know. She also said that she was very hurt, and that I didn't want to speak to her since I'm all she has left now. I told her I had no idea what she was talking about. She said the sign about sex. I still had no idea and talked to my wife about it when she got home. She admitted to it. She said that she made a sign to keep my mom out of our hair at nights. On the sign was written, "Please do not disturb unless you want to see me f***ing your son." She thought it was funny, but I was mad about it. I took the sign, crumpled it up and tossed it in the garbage. I then went off on my wife about how inappropriate and embarrassing this was. She told me it was my fault, that we needed this, and it was just a joke. I slept on the couch last night and she's still pissed at me. Update. First, I sat down with my mother and tried to get to the root of this issue. She told me that she's been doing this as she's just been so lonely, and she wants to feel connected to the only flesh and blood she has left. This made me really feel for her, so I went to my wife to apologize and try to negotiate something. My wife, however, told me that she doesn't want my mom living here anymore. I tried to ask if she could just let her stay one more weekends, but she rejected it. Me and my wife sat her down, and I told her that we felt like we needed more privacy from her, so we asked her to leave for the time being. This set my mom off. She started crying and accusing my wife of trying to break us up. I felt bad. I tried just talking to her and I wanted to get to the root of why she felt like she needed to be here. She said that now I'm her only flesh and blood alive, and if my wife keeps me wrapped around her finger with sex, I'll forget all about her, so she was trying to interrupt that. She also was worried that if I got my wife pregnant, I'd be too busy with her to see her again, and I'd be stuck with my wife when I could do so much better. This made my wife very upset, and I told my mom that I thought she needed to leave then. The crying turned into full-on bawling and yelling at my wife. Eventually, I was able to get her out. I told her that I don't think it's best that we speak until she gets over her issues with my wife. Now looking at this, I feel awful. I had presences who actively wanted my wife gone, and didn't want us to be intimate or have couple time. To top it off, I argued with my wife. She wanted to remove said presence. Like I said, I won't be contacting my mother until she apologizes and accepts it, and I don't think she'll be staying over anytime in the near future. I will also be spoiling my wife rotten until I can make this up to her.